Yes, it's been quite some time. Yes, I am the king of this realm, Uncle Chunt. I hope you're all being great ones to you and yours. Yes, we are nearing the end of 2023, and I haven't done a video in quite a while. So that's what I'm here to talk about. And just to recap 2023 as it is. And if it's anything like my year has been, it's been a bit of a all over the shop kind of show. It's too early in the video to swear. Otherwise, the algorithm will dig me further for not uploading more frequently and then swearing within the first couple minutes if that's still a thing. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. Let's get into it. We'll do some fluffy topics to start with, and then we'll just go into just some recapping stuff. Thanks for being here. For those of you who still turn up when I actually do upload, thanks for being there, and I look forward to seeing comments. Just say hello. You know, that's all I can expect. Well, I don't really expect anything, but that'd be nice. Just a hello would be great in the comment section. So we normally start off with the Ask Chunt. I haven't finished the graphic for it. I'm redoing some of the graphics for the channel. As you can see, the border looks different in this episode. But I just thought I'd just hop on. I've been away, and I just wanted to quickly get this video out there. I haven't finished the graphics or anything, or how the new intro looks or sounds. But here we are. It is what it is. So we'll talk about this year. Ask Chunt, we'll get this out of the way first off. I got asked recently, and it's been in the back of my mind recently about these 2023, oh my God, 2023 collector cards that I was designing, that I have designed, and I'll show you the promo for it. This is it, right? The Uncle Chunt 2023 collector cards. It's just a mini set of 9 cards, sort of fit nicely on one sheet in your binder. Original art by myself. The initial group that I won't name them, that I had lined up to produce these, we're going to do them all in foil. So the entire front would be foiled over, so look really nice. And they're just tokens of art from the year that was, as it says there. Just things that I highlighted throughout the year, as I thought it'd be neat to do a little art piece on each one, including a Game of the Year card and a Movie of the Year card, right? So this is what I want to do every year now, annually, is to do some collector card fun thing, right? That's all it is. It's just meant to be a fun thing, and I can put it up there somehow online. I just want to use a print-on-demand service, right? I don't want to have to do these manually. I don't have the time, right? So I've been searching around for a print-on-demand option online on how to get these done, and I found a few. I had them uploaded, and they were getting to the point where I could post them up for sale, right? I'm going to make pretty much nothing on these anyway. That's not the point. It's just a fun little project for me to put out there to check a box for myself. One of the things I wanted to do this year, if I can speak properly, was to get something physically printed, something physically produced, right? I had a lot of high goals this year, and life did not allow it, but I wanted to get something done. Right? I've created all these cards. These are ready to go. I just need a method to get them out there. And once I do, I'll put them up. Right? However that is. It's definitely not going to be this year. I've been going back and forth for months on a few groups asking what the go is. All right. I'll go back to me. Asking what the go is. Like, this is parody art, right? It's I personally don't think I'm infringing on any IP or copyright or anything. It's parody, it's satire, these cards, right? There's really nothing in these cards that are directly, I'm not printing, or I'm not claiming artwork from other people as my own. I'm not simply just doing a fan art of a actual IP character as they look, right? I'm not just reproducing any characters as they are, as you know them, right? I'm not doing anything of the sort. It's parody and satire of just moments that happened this year, right? So every group I've gone to, they've got a clause in their legalities, defending themselves against this stuff. So if they deem anything that could potentially infringe on IP or copyright, they'll just take it down straight away, which they have done. And I've been going back and forth asking, like, come on, is this done by manual review or what? Anyway, needless to say, look, these haven't gone up, and it's very frustrating to me. So I'm going to try and find an option, right? And it might just, the only option for me might just be to get them manually printed myself, right? And I'll cut them up or whatever. Or alternatively, I'll just post them. I'll put them online this year. And whoever wants to print them out and cut them out, you can do so at your discretion, and you can print them on your own card. You can put in your own bloody sleeve. You know, it's taken a bit of the wind out of the sails. I was really excited for this, but it is what it is. If I can't find a solution, right, and I literally cannot reproduce like a lot of these myself manually. You know, I just can't. I don't have the time. So, you know, I'm flat out getting a set for myself, right? Let alone, you know, anyone in my family or close friends or whatnot. So, if I can't find an option, I'll make a post and I'll just put them online, and you can download them and do what you want with them, print them out, put them in your own sleeve. It just means that next year I'll be a lot more careful, right? Which is frustrating. And this just comes into YouTube and social media and all that kind of stuff, right? Where the blurry lines of what is original, what is transformative, you know, what is satire, what is parody, what does not fall under copyright and all that kind of stuff, what's free use and all that kind of stuff. So it's not just YouTube, it's print, obviously. I get that. I'm from a print background. I understand that. That whole world, I get it. There's certain limitations and restrictions. I 100% understand that, but the artwork is all mine. I created it from scratch. You know, and I can't even get it printed. So that's very interesting to me. Like, I understand, yes, there's a parody of a Chris Pratt Mario card, right? There's a parody of Link from the new Tears of the Kingdom game card on there. But I've made fun of it like a caricature. I've kind of poked fun at the game. There's, you know, my own Chunt Lantern character. So that one I acknowledge is potential, but it doesn't actually represent any existing character that DC owns. It doesn't at all. The logo is not DC's, it's mine. The character design is not DC's, it's mine. Right? The only thing that's connected to DC is the word lantern in it. Right? And that's it. Right? The only other one is the movie of the year card, right? Which, of course, like I did a movie of the year card, and I named the movie, and I'll get to what my game of the year and my movie of the year is very shortly, because I want to use those as talking points. So I get there are some stuff in here, but it's so vague. It's a stretch to me to purposely take these down and not allow me to have these sold, even though I won't be making a dime, using an American term. And again, I'm not doing this to make money. It's just I wanted to put something fun out there for you guys. Because when I put the question out there, like, hey, do you guys think this would be cool? I had enough feedback sent back to me saying, like, yes, we're interested in that. I would like to get a set of your cards. Okay, cool. So I did it. So yeah, it's taken a bit of fun out of it. All this red tape and whatever else you want to call it. But anyway, for those of you who are actually interested, I will find a way that you can get them. Whether I do them myself, like I said, and send them to you, which will be just a vast more expense to me, or I'll just put them online and you can go down to your local print house or whatever it is and get them printed yourself on some card. And I'll have print ready files available to download, and you just take them there, and they'll be to cut, right? You know, with bleed and border and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so enough about that. But that's where those cards are at, right? I had them ready to go months ago, and I wanted to get them up and done before the end of the year. And that's another reason why I'm doing this video on New Year's Eve, is just to call it out, you know, and I'll make sure that my next round of designs are in no way, shape or form able to be at all called out or referenced to anything. It'll just be more specific to me, even more so than those cards already are. Literally one of those cards has me in it. Oh, sorry, about 2 or 3 cards of those has me in it, right? Referencing moments in my life and in the gaming space, right? So it's just hilarious, right? So I don't know. I get they're just protecting themselves, you know, from people abusing their service that they've supplied people to use. I get that, but still, to me, it's just very farcical. Anywho, so that's that. Yeah, bummer, but live and learn. This is the world we live in. Something that makes sense to you and I clearly is not allowed to some other people out there. So cool. And yeah, we'll just recap. So 2023, right? Where have I been? What have I been doing? I know I've done a couple of these videos in the past, but look, it's literally just life, right? I know we've all had a bit of a rough one. For those of you who I catch up with, you know, semi-regularly, or that I follow, or we interact online regularly, or at least now and then, I see everybody's had the challenges, right? I know I'm not alone there, and I'm not, this isn't a woe is me type plea at all. It's just, where have I been, right? I was having quite a standard cadence on uploads week to week, and it was going good. I was enjoying it. It's just this year's been hectic, mate. Like it's the best thing that's happened to me this year is getting my wife in the country, finally, right? And everything, and I won't go into too much detail because it's private, but anyway, just everything involved in that and keeping her here has been an ordeal. It's been very stressful on myself and my wife, and work. So work is also, it has also been a major player in my stress levels this year, particularly the last 6 months. And I won't go into detail there either, but for those who know, they know. But I'm very positive on how the next year's at least going to start. I will control that narrative. I'm telling myself that now. When I return back to work, I'm currently on annual leave. So when I return back to work, I'll be controlling that narrative, and I'll be making damn sure that my progression is on my terms, and I'll take any help that I can get along the way. And that's not just professionally, but personally, you know, physical and mental health. I'll be controlling the narrative there too. And when I say controlling the narrative, that's got nothing to do out of spite or anything. It's just when things go wrong, you can dwell on it for too long, or you can just flip the switch, turn around and take ownership of that situation and start controlling the narrative, right? Instead of letting the narrative control you. So that's what I'm going to do. And creatively, right? Personally, you know, there's the whole the stress of everything that's happened this year and how it's taken a toll physically and mentally on myself. And there's some things in life you just have to go, I just can't do that. I can't do that. I don't have time for that. I don't have the mental space for that. You know, you got to start making concessions in order to give yourself the capacity to do what you actually need doing, right? Work, you know, marriage, legal stuff. You know, there's some things that you can't do everything. And I know there's some motivational people out there saying, but you've got 24 hours a day to get things you need done. That's plenty of time. You know, you sleep for 5 or 7 hours and you've still got, it's like, yeah, I hate that. I hate that shit. Not going to lie. I hate when people start going down that rabbit hole. It's easy to say, but when you're the person having to listen to it and you just have to just tell them to go away. Like, you have no idea. Go away. The amount of free time that's a lot of us have these days is just recovering from just the daily onslaught that is life. You know, I know it's not just me. I've spoken to many people recently who have been going through some very similar situations of stress levels where they don't even have the capacity to do their hobbies, to turn off, because they're too busy not too busy, but they're too focused on just zoning out, right? Just disconnecting from the chaos. That they can't even, but they feel guilty for playing a game, or they feel guilty for watching a series, or they feel guilty for reading some books because they feel like they should be doing something, or they feel like they're too distracted to actually focus on what they're trying to do to chill out, right? I know that that's the life a lot of us have now, particularly those of us around my age. Those of you in the younger demographic, you're probably not there yet, but it'll happen and it'll sneak up on you and you won't even realize. So enjoy it while you've got it. But this is one thing that, I don't like going into New Year's resolutions, but this is just something that I want to try and get across for myself next year, because and someone at work, I won't name them just for obvious reasons, but someone at work told me that if you're too focused on work and you don't focus enough on your side hustles or what keeps you sane or what gives you personal joy outside of work, it will only ever lead to depression, right? And that's what was happening to me. I wasn't prioritizing myself at all, mentally or physically. I was just grinding myself for just the stuff that I needed to get done. That was very key that I put first. And it was just about 8 months or 9 months of that this year straight. And I couldn't do this. I couldn't just sit here and want to talk. I couldn't just sit here and want to chew the fat on topics that happened this week. I couldn't just pay attention, to what was happening during the week to actually speak to it, right? So it's really difficult when you're trying to create a podcast here and communicate with your viewers and your audience and those that you know well that support you when you do this week to week. And you feel like a fraud because you turn up and press record and you've got nothing really of value to say because you haven't been paying attention because you've got too much going on, right? So those reasons and a few more are why I've kind of detached myself from the social media circus and the YouTube space. But I do miss it, right? I personally feel that I'm ahead on some things this year that kept me down to the point where I think I can pick this up again, just at least once a week like I used to. And it's part of me making myself a priority again, right? Because I've been giving myself to too many people and not enough to myself. And I guess I'm saying this as a piece of advice to those of you out there who are having the same struggles or going through the same stuff. Hopefully some of the things I've said have ring true for you, that you relate to some of that. Maybe you haven't known how to say it, and maybe some way I've said it, it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of a light bulb. I know I've spoken to people recently where that's happened. So yeah, I need to get this out there, out of my mind, off my chest, and let it be known to whoever cares, right? Like, I know I'm not a massive presence here, but I do know that there are those, I do have an audience there that do look out for my stuff and watch it eagerly. And that's why I continue doing it. And I know I've promised, or I've made mention of some projects this year that I wanted to get done, not just the cards, but a comic book, right? And all that stuff, which, they're in various stages of production, right? But those are some of the things I mentioned that you've had to just cut, or I've had to cut time. I couldn't put time and focus towards those in favor of the actual life things that I needed to get done this year. So I'm hoping to set myself some more realistic goals in 2024 to get at least 1 or 2 of those done next year, right? Not as soon as possible, just when they're done, right? One is literally just a fan project, right? It's just a Power Rangers fan project that's like woefully out of date now, but I want to get it done. And it would have been relevant probably 5 years ago, but to me, I still want to do it. I might just adjust it a little bit. It can be its own self-contained issue, right? And it's just something, like I said, when I've spoken to people about it, it's an episode that I've always wanted to see. So I'm just going to make it, right? It'll be one issue, whatever. I'll put it out there. If people like it, I'll do another one. But the other ones are all my own original IP that I want to put out there and get into some 3D printing and create figures or statuettes or whatever of my own characters and get this whole package together, right? And make something of it, right? Because if I don't do it, no one else is going to do it for me, right? I know that. So time is valuable. Responsibilities are one part of life that you can't avoid, but please do what you can. I'm telling you from experience, from going through the ringer this year for a number of reasons, and coming out yet another year with many personal goals left unachieved, that you need to take control of your own narrative, right? And forget about New Year's resolutions, bullshit like that. No one does those, right? You need to go, all right, yeah, cool. This year's done, right? What did I achieve? What didn't I achieve? What can I potentially achieve next year and maybe do better, right? You got to start just looking at it like that, right? Instead of New Year's resolutions and putting a bow on it and making it sound prettier than it's meant to be. It's just like, all right, I have a goal. I've got 12 months to do it. How many of these am I going to do, right? And so just start looking at it logically like that. And like myself, I've had this chat with myself, if it's a YouTube thing, because everyone needs a presence. Everyone needs a presence if they're wanting to do something online these days. You cannot grow anything without a presence. And I know that. And I want to keep doing this so I can foster that presence, right? And find an audience, more than I already have. So I can put my stuff out there and hopefully the people that enjoy it find it. Right? That's what I want. That's every creative's dream, right? Is to put something they've created out there that they love and that they enjoy and they made themselves, and to find an audience who might potentially enjoy that thing, right? Therefore, potentially offering an opportunity for growth, right? To do more of the thing that they love, right? And utilizing myself as I'm aware that I'm unique. I have a unique skill set. I have a unique personality. I have a unique creative talent, right? I'm not trying to big talk myself here. I just know that, right? So it's a matter of focusing on what's your differential, right? What can you offer? I can offer things that other people can't. I can offer my things, right? From me, from my perspective, from my art, right? I can do that. Right? Not everybody needs to like it. I don't care, to be honest. I don't care if not everyone likes it. As long as a couple people think that's cool, then that's sweet, right? That's it. That's worth it, right? Anyway, I'm going on a bit of a soapbox there, but age and experience is coming into play a lot, and I've personally matured a lot, even though some people might say otherwise. I know in recent, at least particularly in the last 6 months of this year, I've personally matured a lot and professionally. So I'm looking forward to seeing what 2024 brings, and I have a thicker skin, and I'll be using that going forward. That's for sure. And building that narrative, taking control of my narrative, and I want you to take control of your own narrative too, right? Literally before I hit record on this thing, I was talking to someone online. I won't name them in case they don't want to be known, about what they didn't get done this year, right? And what they don't like people talking to them about, and they hate hearing about certain things or being seen a certain way. And I'm like, look, I get it, mate. I know that. I understand it, but it's one thing to confide in me with that kind of stuff, right? And that's healthy, right? You can confide in a friend. You can speak to someone who might understand and relate to what you're saying, right? You can get something off your chest. They might offer a nugget of advice in return, but what do you do after that? Right? What do you do after that? If you do nothing, then that was a waste of both of your time, right? So if you don't then turn around and reflect on what that conversation bore and build on it, right, then you've just wasted it. So what I'm trying to say is, if you are one of those people like myself who do lose yourself in your own thoughts and speaking to people, and you find yourself you might not know, but try to be more mindful on what you're talking about with people, right? And if you find yourself realizing that most of what you're saying is just complaining or highlighting what you didn't do, right, that's a negative speech pattern, right? So what you need to start doing is being more mindful on talking about what you have done this year or what you do plan to do and how you're going to do that or how you think you're going to do that, right? And if you don't achieve it through that one method that you thought would work, then you'll just find another way to do it, right? And that circles back to my cards issue, right? Some of the tools and options online won't allow me to produce that item, right? So what do I do with it? Do I just hide those cards? Did I just sit on my hard drive, never to see the light of day, and I've just wasted those many hours, formatting the size, creating the artwork, creating the blurb on the back, all that kind of stuff, making it look like a legit card, and just go, oh, well, I can't do it. I'm just going to just hide them here and no one's ever going to see them. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say, all right, screw this shit. I'm going to learn from that. And I'm just going to, if I can't make them physically myself, I'll put them out there for people to download and they can print them on card if they want them in a bloody sleeve, right? At least I've put it out there and whoever wants it can have them, right? And I'll learn from that experience and I'll cater the next annual cards to be more suitable for these goddamn print options. And I'll speak to them between now and the next 10 months and I'll ask them, I'll send them some stuff. I go, hey, you tell me what are the guidelines here, right? I need to know the barriers on what's acceptable so I can play within your field. So, because I want to use your product, right? I want to use your service to get my product out there. How do I best play in your field, right? And that's what I need to do, right? So I've dwelled on it. I've gotten depressed about it. I've gone, right, how can I turn this around? And I have a thought process for how I'm going to do it next time, right? And also not just waste my time on the cards that I've already done. Anyway, I'm not a life coach. I'm far from it. My life is in tatters compared to some others. But, I like to think I've got some things together. And if I do say things that make sense, then hopefully you benefit from that too. Anyway, enough about that. Just want to get that off my chest and explain somewhat where I've been. It's basically life has just been too hectic and I've had to make sacrifices of time and awareness and focus on this kind of stuff to take care of my own shit, right? Which for the most part has been taken care of. And that's why I'm here. Cool. All right. Well, let's stop being so serious. On episode 53. 53, I've been doing this for ages. This is the thing. If you look at like how long it was till I uploaded last time, it was just episode 52 and that was ages ago. And it's like now it's 53. Like I thought had I done one a week, obviously it would have been a lot more than 52, but I would have liked to have hoped it would have gotten to like, I don't know, episode 80 or something like that this year. But anyway, that's another achievable goal I can do next year is even if it's just, so this is the other thing, right? Okay. I know I was going to go on to another tangent here, but this is the thing where I want to do with this show, this product, this podcast, this video chat thing that I do is some weeks will be structured, right? Some weeks will have a few topics that I really want to discuss, right? But I know I'm a good communicator, and I'm probably going to just go off the fly sometimes, like I am doing now. On some weeks, I'll just want to turn the camera on and talk. And I like that. I like having that freedom. I like not stressing myself out in preparing a lot of graphics and news articles, reference material, all that kind of stuff. My life doesn't currently facilitate such focus like that, like it once did. Excuse me. But where possible, let me just take a drink because it's quite warm here. I don't know if you've heard the news at this current date of 31st of December 2023. Where I currently am in Australia, there's severe thunderstorms warnings, and it's some of the hottest days on record. So I'm a bit parched. Pardon me. Hang on a tick. See, and this is what you'll get. Some more kind of raw, real chat, real talk. Not so polished sometimes. But there will be some weeks where some cool shit's going to happen. Some cool stories have happened. And I want to be prepared to talk. And I'll have bullet points that I want to cover. And I like doing that. I enjoy kind of a structured conversation as much as a free-form one. So that's what I'm going to do with this going forward. If you like it, it is what it is. If you don't, see you later. But I want to take this a bit more casual and just be myself and not stress myself over it, right? I know that in my line of work, I know I've gotten as far as I have on my ability to be real and to talk and have my personality on display. I know I can do that with this, right? And I think it'd be better for it without coming across very clinical and prepared all the time. Because I've gone back and watched some of my previous ones over the years, and I'm always one of those guys that wants to just do a good job, right? But sometimes at the behest of what I'm actually trying to do. So anyway, that's the focus. Just more relaxed chats in the future around this. And if there's stuff that I really want to focus on and get my point across, I will structure it out and make it a bullet pointed conversation. But that's what it's all about, conversations, right? Conversations indeed. So I'm just going to do this stinger, and then we can talk about my game of the year and get into some fluffy stuff and stop being so serious. So if you're still here, stick around. I'll be right back. Well, I don't know if that worked. I think there's a bit of a bug there. It didn't load quickly. Yeah, there we go. That worked that time. So yeah, as I said, I haven't prepared everything for this one. I just literally just set up this software and connected the media files and just hit play. Let's go. We hit record. Let's go. So yeah, game of the year. Right. So I know this one came out and it quickly disappeared. Right. People were talking about it for what felt like a couple of weeks, pretty constantly, and then just fell off. So Starfield, right? And ooh, is that taboo or something? I don't know. A lot of people seem to have been disappointed by that game, and I can see why. Right? I understand the comments of, was it Fast Travel Simulator or Fast Travel the game? Or how they displayed the game was false. It was a lie. It was a bait and switch, or like when you actually started playing the game, it was a bit of a letdown. Look, I can see that, right? I can see how they presented the game as more of a No Man's Sky, freeform, no loading screen type of experience. And you're right. But that doesn't stop it from being my game of the year. I loved that game. I thought, wow, this is amazing. This is exactly the kind of game that I needed right now. Right? It just struck a chord with me. I had my doubts going into it, but it's when I actually started playing it is when it really sunk in. And I haven't even finished the main campaign yet, and I'm like 150, 160 hours or something into the game. And a lot of the side missions, like the side quests or the sub storylines, they could be full games into themselves, unto themselves, whatever it is. Oh my God. Seriously, I'm very impressed by the wealth of story, the wealth of content within that game. I'm so far into the game, I don't even know what the main story is. I've gone back to it going, all right. Like you meet the crew at the main HQ around the artifact, spin wheel thing. And they were like, oh, wow, the artifact. Oh, this. Yeah, we need to go get that. And then from that point on, I just deviated entirely and did all this other stuff around the galaxy. And then when I finally came back to a main quest line to pick up right where I left off from that one, I couldn't remember. I don't quite understand what the stakes are. I've lived many lives since that moment. But, and yeah, I think the main storyline, I've gone through enough missions afterwards now, but I think the main storyline is actually a bit boring in comparison to the actual side content of the game and the sub content of the game. But I love the game. The builder ship mode, I love building my own ship. I've spent many hours getting that upgraded and got my own ship design, and I've rearranged it many times as I've got new parts, and I've got all the best skills in the game now to build whatever ship I want with whatever parts I want. And I've got just a beast of a ship that's just cruising around the galaxy, and I love the game. I think it's brilliant. Yeah, it's got some of that Bethesda stuff in it, but it's not as broken. It's kind of, and this is bad to say, I think it's the least broken Bethesda game I've ever played at launch, right? And that's saying something. There's none of that Bethesda bug charm that they seem to get away with all the time, which I never understood why they were able to get away with it for that long. I know it's probably because the games are that enjoyable that people just turn the other cheek, but I kind of made a point not to. But yeah, this one's the least buggiest Bethesda game I've ever played of a mainline game that they've put out. I don't know if you agree with me, but I know we've had a cracker of a 2023 as far as game releases are. And I haven't had time to play all of them, right? I'm only going to be able to speak to the games that I've played. There's been many games that I've bought on sale this year or downloaded on Game Pass and just haven't gotten to yet, right? Because you've only got so much time in a year or in a month to play a game, right? I haven't even played Spider-Man 2 yet, and that's my jam. I haven't even played God of War Ragnarok yet. Like I've got such a backlog of games. It's I've been working through them as I go. Like I think I'm catching up. But I jumped into Starfield day one. I wanted to play that, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I jumped into that. It's exactly the game that I needed at the time, and I'm gonna make a point of trying to finish the main story in the coming weeks, and then get that one marked off, and then I'll probably go back to Gotham Knights or something. I put barely an hour into that game, and something else came out. And so I've done that a lot this year. I've tried to pick up a game here or there, and something else will happen, and I forget about the game, or there's too much time between play sessions, and you just forget what the game is. So you just play something else, right, with the intention of going back to playing that one eventually. So I do envy those of you out there who have been able to focus on one game at a time this year. Mario Wonder is a runner-up, if not tied for Game of the Year for me. I love that game. My wife and I played that co-op the whole way. It was an absolute joy. I mean, co-op frustrations aside, that was real frustrating in some areas, but the game itself was an absolute joy. I loved it. It's my favorite 2D Mario of all time. Just like 3D Mario World plus Bowser's Fury is my favorite Mario game of all time, or at least the 3D Mario game. I love that game so much. It's very rare for me to kind of admit that some newer versions, like the new Sonic games. Ever since Sonic's gone to 3D, I haven't really been a Sonic fan. I've just been a Shadow fan. Not Shadow the Hedgehog. Oh my god, a fly on the wall fan, if you want to say that. Watching from the sidelines, it's like watching. I don't know, watching someone that you grew up with fall down the spiral of getting into drugs, and then being just not who you imagine them being for many years, right? And you're just watching there going, oh, Sonic, like you will turn your life around at some point, and you just keep remembering the good times of the Mega Drive era and the good times you had together. And then whenever Sega puts out like a reminiscent opportunity like Sonic Origins Plus or Sonic Mania, and you're like, oh, yes, oh, I remember them how they were, It's like that. That's my relationship with Sonic at the moment. And you get little sparks of like Sonic Frontier where you're like, oh, there's something there, but it's still shit. But Mario has kind of been consistently good over the years to the point there's some instances where he's so consistently good it's boring, right? But then you get a 3D Mario World plus Bowser's Fury and a Mario Wonder, and you're like, oh wow, like this is Mario, right, for a new era. And like I've bought Mario RPG on Switch and Metroid Prime. I haven't even gotten to those yet, right? So I've got some corker games to get through. I've got some time. Anyway, so that's my game of the year talk. Let me know what yours is. I'm very interested because I've barely played anything this year, but let me know what your game of the year is, and I might even check it out myself. Anyway, so next is the movie of the year. Cool, it worked that time. Excellent. So movie of the year, I'll just go right into it. Actually, no, I won't. No, I'm going to take my time to discuss this and why it's my movie of the year. Because everybody's going to go, what? Okay. So I don't need to go into too much explanation. If you know who I am, I'm a big DC Comics fan. I've got a review for Zack Snyder's Justice League on my channel. That's the most viewed video on my channel because I got invited by an Australian streaming service called Binge to be one of the first people in the country, if not the world, to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League because I'm a big DC fan. I've been vocal online and they've noticed, right? So why am I flexing like that? So I'm flexing like that because I'm very invested. I was very invested, let me say. So when Man of Steel came out in 2013, blew my mind. It is a masterpiece and it still holds up to this day. I love that movie. Love it to death. Right, Batman vs Superman, the ultimate cut. I also love that to death. It's a masterpiece. I don't care what anyone says. But ever since then, it's been it's been a roller coaster of emotions for me as a DC fan, and having my mind blown by two movies like that. And like Wonder Woman was good. I loved Aquaman. I thought that was awesome. Suicide Squad, I enjoyed what we got, but I wish we got the original version of that movie, which I hope that does come out eventually. Release the Air cut hashtag. Thank you very much. I hope to see that one day. But ever since Justice League in 2017, the Joss Whedon Justice League, not the Zack Snyder one, it's just been downhill, right? And there's an amazing documentary that I watched earlier today, actually, that a YouTuber put out. And forgive me, I forgot the name of the channel, and it's a documentary on the downfall of the DCEU, and it documents pretty succinctly actually on the story on what happened and why it failed, right? And it was just studio meddling, literally. It's just studio executives meddling, not letting the creatives do their job, right? And being too reactionary to critics who, let's be honest, who cares, right? It's the audience score and the money that you should be focusing on. Critics, who cares, mate? I know they have some sway to those who are easily susceptible to suggestion and to people who can't formulate their own opinions and need others to form their own. Don't even get me started. But anyway, so I loved what Zack Snyder was building, right? And Ezra Miller is the Flash in his vision, right? He was, or at least he was cast as a Flash. So to see that Flash movie finally get put to screen, which was meant to have come out probably almost 10 years ago, right? Not even joking here. And that's a whole other story. Anyway, Chris, so why is The Flash is your movie of the year? Why is that? Because it's an end of the era. It's the end of that, right? I know Aquaman's only just come out and Blue Beetle only just came out a few months before that, which was excellent, by the way. I love that movie so much. I went and bought both of the McFarlane DC 7-inch figures. This one, you have to buy both of them because otherwise you miss half the accessories. There's one that comes with wings and a whole bunch of other stuff, and this one has a sword and a bunch of hand gestures and other weapons. Anyway, I love that movie. I bought the 4K Steelbook. Blue Beetle, go see it. If that movie came out around the time of Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Suicide Squad when it was at its peak, that movie, like, we'd probably have a Blue Beetle 2 and 3 right now. That movie was, I love it. I have no hopes for James Gunn's DCU that he's building. I have zero interest in it. But if he carries over that Blue Beetle into this new world, this new universe, I'll turn up for that because I really, really enjoyed it. And I loved that character before that movie came out anyway. I've got some key issues over there on my shelf of like his first appearance and all that kind of stuff. That particular Blue Beetle is my favorite. And if utilized correctly, and I keep saying this to people that talk to me about him or that I talk to them about, if utilized correctly, this Blue Beetle could be DC's Spider-Man answer, right? That's what my belief is. And I would love to see that. He's a great character, great power set, great story, great opportunities for world building, universe building, whatever. Anyway, this is about the Flash. And this is my point, right? There's hints of stuff within this era of the DCEU that it's so been coined that have been great, but there's been a lot of shit, right? A lot of shit, like Wonder Woman 84, Birds of Prey, right? Two off the bat right there that are absolute gutter trash. I really liked both Shazam movies, but they didn't find an audience, right? I didn't like James Gunn's Suicide Squad. I didn't like it. I think it was a lot of shock value for shock value. That's it. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, but they pretty much killed off everybody from the first Suicide Squad movie. That's quite the statement. Anyway, I just didn't like it. It had its moments, I get it, and I know people enjoyed it, and it's cool. I'm fine. I'm happy for you. I just didn't like it. What else was there? I mentioned Aquaman. That was really good. See, and that's the problem. Like we should have gotten. So we were promised a Flash 10 years ago. We were promised a Green Lantern film about 10 years ago. We were promised a Man of Steel 2 about 10 years ago. Right? We were promised many things, many movies that were never made because the studio just kept reacting and changing course all the time. Right? Anyway, The Flash. This isn't a DCU retrospective. Other people have done that. I've done it. So The Flash, why is it my movie of the year? Because, like I said, it's a culmination of that, right? And if it was in a better release order, it should have been Blue Beetle, Aquaman, and The Flash, all right, as the last three. So Shazam, Fear of the Gods, Blue Beetle, Aquaman, Flash. But instead it went Shazam, Fear of the Gods, Blue Beetle. Sorry, Shazam, Fear of the Gods. I think it was then Flash, and then Blue Beetle, and then Aquaman. Oddly enough, but if you haven't seen The Flash, go see it. But it could have been used as a great endpoint to that era of movies, right? And that's what it should have been, and it kind of was, and it made me cry. Right, that movie. I did a review of it on one of these videos. I cried on that movie because there's so much stuff in that movie I didn't expect to see, right? And I won't spoil that stuff for you. You've probably already seen it all online anyway, but I didn't expect to see some of the stuff I've seen in there, bad CG or not, right? And it caught me off guard. I didn't expect it. And there's a lot of weight behind what I saw in those movies, in that movie. because of what that represents in the history of cinema, the history of DC, the history of DC Comics, the history of DC on film. That's what got me, not because of the fan service, which it was cool, but there's more to it than that I appreciated probably on another level than some others, right? And even my wife was like, "What the fuck, what are you crying for?" And I had to explain after the movie. But there's so much behind that because I've been a lifelong DC fan. I've seen every DC movie. I've seen the ups and downs. I've seen the downs and the downs. I've been online long enough during all of this to be on the receiving end of all the Marvel fanboys, and I've partaken in all that kind of stuff. And there's just a lot in there, and it was kind of almost cathartic in a way to see it end, right? Of like, okay, and that was a thing, right? Those movies happen. I got some cool movies out of it. I got to see Henry Cavill be Superman. Got to see Jason Momoa be Aquaman in a new rendition, which just was awesome. And that's how Aquaman should have been this entire time. I got to see Shazam movies. That was cool. Wonder Woman, that was good. Batman vs Superman. Oh man, I can't believe that movie got made. I love it. And just what Zack Snyder was trying to build, like that was very kind of epic and daring and dark. Like I was in for it, right? And I was reading the comics. I've got most of the games. Like I'm a DC guy, right? And I didn't really like what Marvel was doing. So it was just frustrating to see DC and Warner Brothers try to do what Marvel does when they should have just stuck to their own tone, their own personality, and made themselves that differentiator, right? Anyway, that's a whole lot of discussion about The Flash. I enjoyed it. Visually, it was amazing. Again, bad CG or not in a lot of areas, but I dug it. Ezra Miller, take it or leave it. I think he might have been miscast, but I did enjoy him as Flash, Barry Allen, at least for what he did with it. I enjoyed the concepts shown in the movie. I enjoyed how DC or whoever was involved in putting that movie together took the opportunity to show DC on film and the history of DC, right? That was such a cool moment. And the Nicolas Cage thing and the Tim Burton movie that never was, and the whole story behind that, and just, oh man, that whole sequence just floored me. Like that in itself is me saying I'm going to pick up the 4K steelbook for that movie, because it's like a little time capsule to me of just an era that was. And when I put it on my shelf, it's going to be the last movie in order, right? I'm not going to put it in theatrical release order because that doesn't make sense, right? It's going to go Shazam, like I said, Blue Beetle, Aquaman, and then The Flash, and that'll be the end point of that whole era from Man of Steel to The Flash. But yeah, so I guess, I mean, if you want to know more about my thoughts, I've got a video up there, but who cares, right? That's why it's my movie of the year, not because it blew the socks off everybody, not because it made $1 billion, because it didn't, not because it course corrected anything for those movies, because everything was coming to an end anyway. It was just because we got what we got. It did a lot of awesome, cool shit in one movie that I never thought we'd see, and it was an end of an era, right? Anyway, let me know what you thought of it, right? You're probably not as invested as I am / was. And my personal investment has sorely declined in recent years, and it peaked at Zack Snyder's Justice League being released, and I've got the 4K steelbook of that too, no doubt. Oh, that's a piece of cinema history there. Don't get me on this story path because I'll keep going. Let me know what you think of The Flash, and we'll wrap this up. Yeah, we'll wrap it up. Excellent. There's almost no point from doing that little stinger there, but I like doing it. So yeah, as we wrap this up, I wish you thanks for your time and including me in your day. Yes, I'm reading a little note here that I want to say these nice things at the start and the end of every one of these that I do. It's important, I think, for me and for anyone doing this kind of thing to give thanks, right? Because your time is something you never get back, and I've been more appreciative of time this year than ever. So yeah, as we wrap this up, I wish you thanks for your time and including me in your day, particularly on New Year's Eve. If you're on your own this year, look, there's people like me putting videos out. You're not going to be alone, right? Just say good day in the comment section and I'll reply, right? Follow me on my socials, right? And this isn't a shameless plug. Just find my socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, Uncle Chunt, you'll find me, TikTok, whatever. And just say good day. Hey, look, I saw your video. I'm alone on New Year's. You don't have to tell me that, but just say, hey, I saw your video tonight. Yeah, thanks, blah, blah, blah. Just saying good day. Like, hey, look, cool, thanks, mate. Like, I'll say good day or reply to you. Like, so you got someone saying good day to you, right? You're not on your own. UncleChunt.com to keep abreast of upcoming projects and updates. So you'll see updates on that in the new year coming up soon. In the meantime, till all are one, may the power protect you and Skull. So please take care of yourself. Don't go, or do whatever you want on New Year's. Just don't harm anyone. Don't harm yourself. To be nice. Hopefully you're with some loved ones. And if you're not, just try be connected to someone, right? There'll be someone out there for you to say good day to, right, on New Year's. And I'm just burping at the end of this. And if you don't have anyone to say good day to on New Year's, ping me. Go on my socials, say Happy New Year's, Chunt. I'll be like, Happy New Year's, mate. All right. And you won't be on your own. Cool. I'm going to stop this now. Hopefully this thing turned out all right. I didn't test it beforehand. And we'll catch up in the new year with some more frequent uploads week to week as we get into doing this habit again. All right. Toodaloo, take care. Bye.